The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at NETsn.live. Yo, what's up? It's your boys, and once again, welcome to the Wide Right Scoreboard Show. It is week 5 here in East Texas. We're going to bring you guys some live scoreboard, live scores tonight. Once again, we want to appreciate our partners. Once again, it's Lone Star Gridiron Network. We appreciate you guys for bringing us on. We love the support, love being a part of the family. And once again, if you guys haven't watched our show, the weekly wrap-up show on Wednesdays, this is a part of that show. We actually bring you the games from the Pick'em line and, of course, some other games as well that we do. We're going to bring in some other guys as well, possibly give you guys some live scoreboard and some insight on some of the games we cover. Looks like we got somebody coming in here with me. Okay, we got Brett. Brett coming in.
Different experience than we normally have. Our Texas, the West Rush, it's been a slugfest. 2 to 35 lead for West Rush quarter, and West Rush has the ball. A lot of good action in here.
So you said it was 52 to what with West Rusk?
42. Got the ball in their own territory. It's going to be down. So it's going to be about second 12 in their own territory. We're going to stop them and get the ball back. The game back tied. They just actually tied the ball to go. Then West Rusk quarterback sneak up the middle touchdown. So West Rusk, the art band here behind me, as good as you're going to get here on Friday night.
I got you. I'm trying to actually get some. It's kind of hard to hear you at first, but hopefully we get some good feedback there. But yeah, we appreciate you coming on and talking about the game. I was just about to get into the scores. We're kind of doing some video replays and stuff before. Yeah, I've been keeping track of that game too. Hopefully ARP can pull it out. I'm not playing fans here, but we got some colleagues and friends and stuff that coach at ARP. So hopefully they can pull it out. But it's a close game.
Update for you. Do a long pass. And now the red zone is in the lead here.
There was some video recon. Okay.
We got at the 14-yard line. What else? Keep up with what's going on tonight. And everybody else is keeping up.
All right. Yeah, just let me know exactly what happened in the game. I'm gonna give them some other scores. Let me see what we have here. Some other games we've been looking up. Try to get back to me a little bit later. I'm gonna run through some scores and see if we can get Vince on. All right.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Dude.
All right, we had Brett at the game. There was a live update there at the ARP. Once again, the ARP West Russ game that was going on a little bit later. Of course, that's a crosstown rivalry. Some other scores and highlights, or not highlights, but scores that we're kind of keeping track on today. Of course, we have some other East Texas games. Of course, is who we cover. Some other games we're kind of keeping track on a little bit here. Let's see what we have. Of course, we have another game. The Lindale Eagles right now are big time over the Henderson Lions, 44-3, and that game right now is in going to Lindale. Looks like Lindale's going to pull that out. They've been playing well since that first loss to Kaufman. They've reeled off 3 wins in a row. Actually 2 wins in a row. I'll take that back. The Gilmer lost as well, but they played well. They took Gilmer down to like the final quarter. So that's a big time game right now for the Lindale Eagles. But they're up big over the Henderson Lions right now, 44-3. Tough season right now for Henderson thus far. Of course, another game, District 9 4A, we're keeping track of as well. Athens in Jacksonville currently right now is 34-17. Hopefully we can get Vince on and he can kind of give us an update. I know he went to that game tonight. 34-17 Jacksonville over Athens. Now the big question mark about that at the beginning of the season, if you guys have been paying attention to the weekly wrap-up show, we had a big discussion in the preseason show as well about Jacksonville. Of course, you know, they dropped down from Class 5A to 4A this year. And the big question mark was how will they fare against this pretty almost like a district of doom in this classification. Well, I predicted they were going to do pretty well. 34-17 win. They haven't won many games this season. However, coming into district play, you always want to get that first win. You kind of get confident a little bit. 34-17 versus a decent Athens team that'll kind of get the ball rolling, obviously. But keeping track of keeping track of Jacksonville and Athens. Hopefully they can pull it out, make it a game, make it a contest. So there was another game there. Of course, we're going to go to some Tyler schools here. Unfortunately, Tyler High Lions 34 losing today to McKinney North. The Bulldogs 34-13. Once again, it's still a tough year right now for those for the Tyler High Lions this year. Let's see what we got going on. Some other scores. See if we can get a better update. All right. The Spring Hill is over the Grace Cougars right now, 21-3. Let's see what we have here. The Carlisle Indians, big right now in the third quarter. If you guys have another update for Carlisle, please let me know. Right now, I have a score is 48-26. As y'all know, Carlisle's been one of the teams that we've been kind of paying attention to all year. Big over the Lone Oak Buffaloes, 48-26 right now. That's in the third quarter. Then, of course, the Palestine, once again, that's a 9-district 4A team. Palestine and Kilgore. This is another matchup I was looking forward to as well. I didn't get a chance to get big on the show about this one, but that game was another big game for them. I know Palestine had a pretty good, decent preseason schedule, pre-district schedule, and Kilgore had a tough district schedule as well. They pretty much played Carthage and Gilmer at not the same time, but week 1 and week 2. But that's a big time win for Kilgore. And Palestine's no slouch. Every team in this district is going to be a dogfight. So 32-0 right now, Kilgore over Palestine. So that's a big win for them. Let's see if we can go here. What do we have? Another game we were kind of keeping track of as well is the White House Nacogdoches game. Nacogdoches thus far is 21-13. Now, if you guys have a score update for that White House Nacogdoches game, please let us know. Right now, Nacogdoches is 21-13 over White House. That is in the third quarter. And if you guys have an update, please let us know. Enter in the chat and let us know. Ping us, and we could definitely check on that as well. But White House has been 4-0 this year, surprisingly enough. White House Wildcats had a bad season last year, turned it around thus far, 4-0, in the season, and then Nacogdoches is 0-4. So this is a big-time win for Nacogdoches if they can pull this out. 21-13 right now, going into the third quarter. Hopefully we can get a better update and see how that game is progressing thus far. But 21-13, that's a big game for Nacogdoches if they can pull that out. 26, moving on to District 3A, or not District 3A, but 3A District here. Mount Vernon and Mineola. And of course, Mineola's had a pretty good success in football the past few years. Mount Vernon the same way. Mount Vernon lost their starting quarterback to an ACL. Now, if you guys play football in the past, you guys know he's a senior. Seniors always have that one last hurrah. You always want to make it big. Kid tore his ACL. Feel sorry for the kid. But Mount Vernon is rallying behind the football team, and I know that's going to be a lot of support for him. They're up 28-25 over a very good, well-coached Mineola football team. So that's a big-time win if Mount Vernon can pull that out. That is a big-time win for that team. That's a dogfight there in Mineola. So we're going to keep track of that game for sure. Hallsville right now is down 49-31 over Texas High. That was another game that we were kind of keeping track of as well. We know Texas High's pedigree, and Hallsville had a pretty decent season last year. And a lot of our district foes this year, well, I'm saying a lot of our district foes, a lot of District 9 4A teams have played Hallsville the past couple of years. So that's a very big game to keep track of as well. Hallsville is down by 18 points against a very good Texas High football team. So shout out to Hallsville for being competitive. I know the score is not indicative of that, but they're being very competitive at this point. So shout out to Hallsville right now for doing that, for keeping that up. Let's see if we can get some other scores here. All right, we got here. Let's see. Marshall right now 14-0 over Pine Tree. Once again, if you guys have some live up scores, please let us know. Right now it's in the fourth quarter, 14-0 Pine Tree, Marshall over Pine Tree. Let's see if we can get that. All right, let's see if Brett's got an update here while we take a little break here just a moment. See if he's got another update for us. You got another update?
I do. West there, now they're up 49-30. 8 minutes to go in the game.
49-28. 49-35. So you guys are here 49-35 West Russ over Auburn. This is in the fourth quarter, right?
Yep. 8 minutes.
8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Okay. If you guys are paying attention, and you wonder why Brett's not in the booth tonight, well, he had a week off tonight, so he's doing some East Texas recon. So he's all gung-ho about it. He's got the camera, he's got the headphones and everything out there tonight. So he's doing some recon for us tonight. Check the score out. You got some, okay.
I gave you some live.
Right on. There we go.
Jacksonville score, Corey.
The Jacksonville Indians, the Jacksonville scored 34-17. I'm telling you, that right now it's 34-17.
Hey,
I don't know if it's changed.
Corey, who picked Jacksonville this week?
It doesn't matter. We're not talking about the results of the scoreboard. We're not talking about the results of the pick'em. We're only talking about the scores of the pick'em.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm I understand.
Yeah, no time to gloat. It's okay. There's more scores to lose. I promise you, there's more scores to lose.
The game I was interested in, Liberty. I see if you can find that one, because that was one that was on our show this week.
I got a big game for you. 21-13. Nacogdoches is over White House at this point.
Wow.
That's in the third quarter. Unless we got there's another update right now. That's the score of that game in the third quarter. I'm looking forward to see if there's another update. Let's see. Right now at the half, of course, it's going to be Sulphur Springs over Liberty Ilo, 24-6. Sulphur Springs is over big right now for Liberty Ilo. So let me go check. Let me check and see if we can get a better update for that score for everybody here. And once again, that was a game, of course, you guys are paying attention. That was a game we were talking about this past week. Liberty Ilo being ranked, and we had this big discussion about Liberty Ilo. Yeah, so that game is a final. Sulphur Springs 24, Liberty Ilo 6. So that game is actually a final. So Liberty Ilo takes the first L of the season, and I'm gonna say this: that's quality opponent. That was what we refer to here. Take this back. Now, if you guys will pay attention earlier to the weekly wrap-up show, we have the discussion with some of the chat members as well. That was one of the games that we had the discussion about Liberty Islo being ranked in the state. And one of my contests was they didn't play anybody during this year. And I wasn't saying it to be disrespectful. Kind of was, but wasn't. But at the end of the day, I didn't think they played enough people or worthy opponents thus far during the year. That big test was Sulphur Springs tonight, and they did not pass that test. Sulphur Springs beat them pretty handily, 24-6. And so we were kind of right. I mean, Liberty Islo's not saying Liberty Islo's a bad football team at all. I'm just saying that the scores from the team that they played, their overall schedule, I didn't think they played a heavy enough schedule thus far and beat worthy teams. But Sulphur Springs beat them pretty handily tonight, 24-6, and that is a final for that game as well. So that game is something that we were looking forward to here. No, amongst the fellas we were. Let me see some of the games that we have here thus far. Beckville still rolls right now. It's 42-0 over Big Sandy. That was a halftime score. Let's see if that game was actually pulled out as well. See Edgewood big over Winona, 42-14. That was at halftime, and then of course Atlanta's up big, or not up big. They were up 20-14 at half. Let me take a look and see if that is a final, because I know that was another game we were kind of keeping track as well. And Brook Hill's had a very good schedule here. Yeah, Atlanta is 35, Brook Hill 28. That is a final at this point. So Atlanta pulled out, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Brook Hill. They scheduled some pretty good games, some pretty good teams this year outside of that outside of the private school realm. And I know you have the private school. Sometimes it's kind of hard to schedule games and where the opponents, because maybe or maybe not. Brook Hill's population is growing a little bit. They're getting some pretty good football players there. So shout out to Brook Hill for that. They played traditionally they played an athletic Atlanta team, and Atlanta scored. They're gonna score points, 35-28 over Brook Hill. So that to me is a quality win for them. I would definitely say that's a decent win. So shout out to them. All right, let's see what we have here. The Edgewood game is a game that I picked. I kind of picked that blindly. I was going for Winona. Don't add me. Don't add me for that. I know I lost that one. Edgewood is up big. Edgewood is playing some football this year. Shout out to the Edgewood Bulldogs. Let's see what we have here. Winona. Not getting a good update on the other scoreboard, so I'm going to have to go somewhere else and get us a better update here. So Edgewood is up humongous, 59-26 over Winona. That is in the fourth quarter with less than 3 minutes to go. So it looks like Edgewood's going to pull that out, and they're going to remain undefeated at 5-0. And I'm assuming this is going to be before district play. It's actually in district. So Winona's going to go down to 2-3. It looks like Edgewood's going to be 5-0. That is a big time win for Edgewood, and they are steadily climbing up that state rank board there. So I don't see nothing but W's for those guys. So shout out to Edgewood. All right, let's see. It's another score here. I want to take a look at the White House game. I don't have anybody chiming in, so let me see if the White House game is going to be up. Let's see what we have. See if we can get a live update here for the White House game. All right, so that is a final. Nacogdoches 28, White House 21. That is a final for the game. So White House is a battle of the undefeateds and a battle of the defeateds. Nacogdoches was 0-4 going into the game. They hadn't won a game all season long. White House is 4-0. Nacogdoches pulls out the win, 28-21 over White House. So that is a bad loss and a good win for Nacogdoches versus White House. So that's another game that we kept track of. And, man, we all got that one wrong. That was one of the pick'em games that we got wrong. So, for sure, that's another bad one. Let me go back here. Let's see. We got Jacksonville. See if Jacksonville pulled it out. And yes, that is the final. Jacksonville 34, Athens 17. So Athens loses their first district game, and Jacksonville wins their first district game. Jacksonville once again dropping down from Class 5A, going to the District of Doom, one of the other districts of Doom in East Texas. But they are 34 to 17 winners over Athens. I'm gonna talk bad to Vince whenever he gets online. I promise you I will, because he's his good authority. His good authority. I'm definitely gonna talk bad to Vince about that. 34 to 17, Jacksonville. I'm not gonna bring Brett on because I know he picked them, and I can kind of see that he's laughing on. I'm not gonna bring him on. I know he's laughing, but he's gonna be a pick'em champ for the longest behind that. But I'm not gonna pick him for that. I'm not bringing him on for that. You know what? I'm also bringing him on. This is gonna be funny.
Don't be a bad loser. It's okay to lose.
I'm number one. I'm tired of I'm tired of Vince's good authority. I'm pulling him out. I'm tired of his good authority.
Maybe you should start listening to me for it.
But you know what? I did say this before the season started. I said, watch out for Jacksonville. I said, watch out for Jacksonville. They may be okay. They dropped down in classification. They may be okay. They're 2-3 on the season and 1-0 in district.
They scheduled a tougher preseason, which is why I went with Jack. They scheduled. We saw Sulphur Springs get earlier in the season. They play a team now. Close to beating them. I mean, I think they just tested themselves early. Former Chapel Hill defensive coordinator. I get the team turnover. I don't want to see them be good, just because he's a great coach. And, I mean, they always have a good addition. They're still to make the district.
Yeah. I take nothing,
Corey.
Take nothing away from Jacksonville at all. They played well. Game of the night, though. Game of the night was White House and Nacogdoches, undefeated and defeated. Nacogdoches sneaks out with a win, and that's gotta suck at this point. And you still have a chance. It's not over, but that's a dampening.
Is it okay that I'm not sad?
No. We need to make as many friends as possible. I'll take that back. You can be as disrespectful as you want to be at this point. Because next week I have a lot to say about that Liberty Islo score. I got a lot to say about that. Hey, it's not going to be disrespectful. It's just going to be a really nice banner. That's all it is.
Pick Sulphur Springs to win.
I think everybody picks Sulphur Springs to win. I think everybody picks Sulphur Springs to win. I know
I've got it up. West Rusk has extended their 35 with 2:50 to go.
Okay. I got another final here for it. Longview. West Rusk pulled it out. Okay. I think everybody picked that. I do have a final here. For it. It's a tight game. This is a tight game throughout, but it looks like Longview pulled it out 21-13 over Lancaster, or Lancaster, depending on where you're from.
Okay.
So they pulled that one out 21-13. That was another big game.
Closer than I expected, but
yeah, Lancaster's not bad. I give them that. They're not bad at all. So they're not bad at all. Kilgore with a big win tonight. I think they blanked Palestine. And they beat Palestine 32-0. And that's another game that surprised me a little bit. I thought Palestine was going to give them a little fight. But once again, they were flexing their muscle a little bit.
So for Jacksonville won in this
Jacksonville, Lindale. Yeah, Jacksonville, Lindale, and Kilgore have all won. And they've all won. They've all scored over 30 points.
Hey, Corey, did you find a legacy about that Tyler High lost? They played last night. Lost.
Yeah,
North.
Tyler High lost to North Mesquite. I think 34-21, if I'm not mistaken. They got beat last night as well. Let me go back here. Marshall's playing. It wasn't a big game. Was kind of keeping what I was keeping track of. See if Marshall pulled that one out. And Marshall won big, 36-7. So Marshall is 3-2 going into district play as well. So 36-7 Marshall over Pine Tree. That's another big game for those guys there. So I figured Marshall was going to come in with some decent wins. I would tell you the Timpson score. I would tell you that if Timpson won, but the score is the most important. I want to see if they scored at least 60 or and above. Last time I checked, it was 41-6. As you say, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm just gonna call them busting them. Busting them. I think he had like a kickoff return and something else. So it was pretty dramatic. Oh, wait a minute. We got Vincent. Good authority.
What's up?
What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Coming in from the
Hey, Vince. I was gonna say, Vince, you look like.
Okay. I look like what?
You look like your puppy died.
No. I was just trying to catch up with some scores. I really just got settled in from the Jacksonville game. It took me a little bit to get here, and I had sitting there trying to eat real quick before I hopped on. So,
well, hey Brett, we're gonna finish the show out, and we're gonna wrap everything up here. We got about a good 10 minutes. Appreciate you coming on and giving us a live update.
Trying to find.
I'll be listening to the rest of the show.
Oh yeah.
All right. No. He was at the live of the score. He was kind of breaking up just a little bit. So we was gonna try to move forward. But yeah. Vince in the building. Yeah, we were just going over the actual Athens Jacksonville game and not going over the actual game. We were giving props to Jacksonville on getting their first district win. They were 2-3 on the season thus far, 34-17 over Athens. And you went out and scattered. How does Athens look? How does Jacksonville look? I mean, you saw enough.
Jacksonville looked. They got some things to work on, but they got some stuff to work with. That's what I'll say. I like to say it like that. They got some stuff to work on, but they got some things to work with. So Athens, you could tell. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You could tell they lost somebody. The energy just wasn't there like it was a few weeks ago, and I think it was their tailbacks or something like that. Both of them. They still were able to move the ball at times, but they would get somewhere and then they would stall. So it's like they could do a little bit, but there wasn't enough to push forward. And Jacksonville just made good on those mistakes that they made. I think when the game kind of got out of hand, Athens went on like a little 3-and-out, and they punted the ball, and the punt returner ran it back to like the 20. And so they were already in the red zone at that point. So and I think it may have took them probably about 3 or 4 plays to get in. Like I said, they got some things to work on too. But they was able to get in. I got a couple of pictures and stuff like that, but it was homecoming too. It was homecoming, so it was very packed out there. Very, very packed.
The Tomato Bowl, okay.
Yeah.
All right. The revamped Tomato Bowl. I know I didn't give a score earlier. I forgot the fucking score. I know why I didn't do it because I picked Lufkin before he ended up winning that game. It's 41-21 over Lufkin. So Uh,
Did you see that White House got their first loss?
yeah. To
Did you see that?
Nacogdoches on top of that.
Yeah.
I did not see that was a curveball. I did
But
not see that.
that was the thing that I don't know if I had mentioned it last week. I was like, you gotta be watching for teams like NAC because they done got hit up so many times here lately. Here, every game they play from here on out is gonna be a trap game for whoever, you know.
Yeah. I mean, 0-4 says a lot, but like it's a new season. I don't care if you're
It
0-4 or
is.
not. It's a brand new season.
It 0-4 means something when 3 out of the 4 games are all blowouts.
You some I don't remember
They
who I
had the
remember who
first.
I
So their first matter of fact, here I click on it for you real quick, let you know. Let's see. First game they played was against Palestine. That game ended 37-31 Palestine. The next game when they played Lufkin, it was 37-0. Then the next game after that, they played Lumberton, and that was 52-6. You see the trend?
Yeah.
And then they played us, and it was 42-17. And really, we let off the gas. We gave them more than what they deserved. And so now
Mistakes.
they played White House, and they dropped 34 on White House. So
And see, and this is the other thing about that I always say too. And I mentioned this before, and I keep mentioning it. There's always bulletin material. You schedule preseason. The real season is district. You can go 0-5, in the preseason, and win your district and be 5-5. Because your aspiration is district is the playoffs and so on and so forth. So would you rather win? Would you rather be undefeated and lose a state championship game because you didn't play anybody, or would you rather be 9-7? You know what I'm saying? Going into the state championship game, you had a tough schedule. Of course, I'd be 9-7. No one was perfect, but you caught fire early. But shout out to Nacogdoches for getting there in the season. Hopefully, they can pick up on that. If you're White House, I mean, crumble it up, throw it away. I mean,
you still got more season to play. So
you still got a lot more season left to play. Aspirations is winning district and moving forward. So that's you got to get past that. Liberty Ilo was a team who we thought they were. They did not beat Sulphur Springs tonight. They were down 24-6 and they lost 24-6. So I got a lot to talk about next week. Of course, when that comes back, that Liberty Ilo, because I didn't think they were going to be Sulphur Springs. We talked about that before. We didn't think they were. I'm not saying they're trash. I'm not saying it about another team. That is not where I'm getting it from. I'm saying that we did not think Liberty was a better team than what they were putting out there because of their schedule. That was my point. And that measuring stick tonight was against Sulphur Springs. I didn't think Sulphur Springs was a perfect team, but they were Sulphur Springs. They got a little pedigree with them. So it's Liberty Ilo. But 24-6, that says a lot.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Palestine got drunk. Palestine got beat 32-0. They got beat.
Well, see, that's what I've been trying to tell y'all. I don't believe in Palestine the way y'all believe in Palestine. I believe Palestine played. I don't know. I had to look, but I just feel like the schedule ain't as strong, and now they about to come into district, and they finna have to face some tougher opponents who might all beat them, in my opinion.
I thought their preseason schedule was pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie about it. I thought their preseason schedule.
I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look it up here because I could just be hard on Palestine. I don't want to just do like that.
I think probably you
like
have the weakest preseason schedule. I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna say it's weak. It's kind of hard to say weak because football teams are gonna dress up every Friday. But some of those games weren't on as strong. But Athens may not have had the best preseason schedule out of all the teams.
They beat Nacogdoches and they beat Livingston. Let me look up.
Livingston's not bad. Livingston wasn't bad, and they got beat by I can't remember the team late. I can't remember who they got beat by late. But Palestine had I think it was. Didn't they play center?
Hold on.
But I could be completely wrong. But center's a really good football team. Take nothing away from center at all. They are a really good football team. I think center's a lot better.
I don't really know a lot of these schools here. Livingston lost to Bel Air, Needville, Palestine, but then they won against Houston Legacy and Madisonville. So
Madisonville's really good.
I don't know. It's hard to judge it.
Center had another win.
I'm always shocked by the blowouts. I just feel like, another friend of mine said this to me too. He said, I would never let a team drop 50 on me. I would never let that happen.
Control that. You can't control that.
There's things I don't know. You can't, but you kind of can control. I don't know.
You can. How you gonna control the team scoring 50
I don't
on
know,
you?
man.
Anything can happen. You can fumble the ball. They can do onside kicks. They can return kick.
If I see a player struggling like that, and we already in a bad game, then he may not. I may sit him down. But like, listen, I got to make sure that I can control this game. Get control of this game. I don't know. And I may just run the football to start running the clock out. So I don't want you to run the score.
Hold on, talking about. You can try to run the football. Eventually, if they're already up 40, 47.
I just need. Here's the thing. No, that's the thing. I'm not gonna let it get that far. Once you hit 21 and I ain't scored, okay, we finna revamp everything on the field.
That sounds easy. That sounds
like it sounds easy. It does. I'm not even gonna act like it didn't.
That sounds madness-esque.
Derek over here, what did he say? Almost had an upset.
Lancaster almost had the upset.
Yeah, that game ended up being closer than I thought it'd be.
Never bet against an East Texas team. That's all I'm saying. Never bet against an East Texas team.
That game was a little closer than I thought it'd be.
It was. Lancaster they beat South Oak Cliff. They beat. Now, granted, it's right down the road, but they still beat South Oak Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's enough for me. And then they beat McKinney North. So that's enough for me. And I'm not saying not McKinney North. Let me see. I think I had
Hallsville lost. I didn't see that. I think I picked Hallsville.
I saw that. I saw Hallsville lose. Texas High is who we thought they were. Texas only lost one game.
Yeah, I felt like this was the game Hallsville had to make that statement to bounce back. And
Kilgore is who we thought they were going to be. Kilgore is coming out.
Absolutely.
District teams are playing hard. Kilgore's playing hard. They got beat early on for the first couple of games, no problem. So guess what? They catching steam. They beat Hallsville. They handled Palestine handily tonight. They're catching steam. They're 3-2. Lindale, same way. They got beat by Kaufman. Now they're catching steam. They got beat by Kaufman and Gilmer. Boom.
I mean, it's just crazy. Look at these blowouts here. You got Center over Canton, 52-0. You got Malakoff over Kemp, 63-0. You got Garrison over West Sabine, 52-0. You got Kilgore over Palestine, 32-0. I'm just saying, Corey.
Those teams
I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm just saying I'm not going to let you do me like that.
How are you not? How do you have control over it?
I'm not going to let you do me like that. I will revamp that entire team on the field. I will just throw away the book. It ain't working. We need to do something else.
How are you? Anybody listen? I know you.
Now the hardest part. Now I will say this:
stop a team from scoring 50.
The hardest part. See, that's the thing. The hardest part is going to be the defense because you got to stop them from scoring.
That's what I'm saying. How
you got to stop them from scoring.
They already scored.
They've already scored. Part of my plan is to try to keep my offense on the field as long as possible.
How do you
go for nothing big?
How do you keep nothing big?
Keep everything within 5 to 10 yards. We are going to march down the field. And in that same time frame, I got somebody working on my defense. I need somebody up in the booth who's been seeing what's been going on. I need you down here on the field with me, calling it out. Because you listen, I need to stop him from scoring 50, and I need to score. I don't want you to score 50 on me. Corey, you just act like I'm crazy. You go. I want like I'm crazy.
No control. You
yes,
have.
I do.
I'm gonna tell you how loose this is. I'm gonna tell you how loose this is. You already can't move the football. That's why the other team is scoring that many points. So your game plan about holding the football and running.
When that game gets to 62-0, I will be putting on pads. Get out of my way. I'll do it myself.
I forgot. I forgot. You was applauding Bishop Sycamore. That's what I forgot. You applauding Bishop Sycamore. You were supporting Bishop
I
Sycamore.
wasn't supporting him. That's wrong. That's not right. Y'all go watch the pod. I did not support him. I just did not convict him until I heard the whole story.
You supported
That's
Bishop
all
Sycamore.
it was.
That's
I
what
just I
happened.
just did not convict him until I heard the whole story.
That's what y'all want to listen to what we had. It is a That's So Dope podcast. We had a That's So
Yeah.
Dope podcast of BJD
Yeah.
events. It is on Apple. Anywhere you can find a podcast, go to that one. It's a Bishop Sycamore one. Hilarious show. That was one of the other ones. Kind of get loose on the show a little bit, but it was nonetheless it was hilarious. But go watch it. You'll see exactly what we're talking about because he really took Bishop Sycamore aside. If you don't know the Bishop Sycamore story,
I did not.
you did.
I didn't take the side, Corey. I just didn't want to convict the man before we knew.
He
That's
should have
it.
been convicted. He should
Nah,
have been convicted.
man. I don't believe in guilty until proven innocent. I just don't believe in it.
He was guilty because he was guilty before he was guilty. He was anyway. Nonetheless, you can't control the other team from scoring 50 points like that. They're gonna score 50. You could try to control the football, but it's not gonna work that way. Let's see.
Unless you Argyle, I'm I'm gonna do something.
You gonna hold? I mean, you can try. I in football, I don't. If
you know, I'm not gonna sit and act stupid. I know it really is. It just sucks when you see those type of games.
We go, Derek. They're real man. Derek, we appreciate you for hanging in. This is late. I think Lufkin had a fluke game against A&M Consolidated. I don't think Lufkin had a fluke game against A&M Consolidated. A&M Consolidated is not the quality of opponent that we have here in East Texas. That's what number one, I think. Number two, Lufkin's a lot better than people think. It's just, the district is a little bit tougher. And, okay, prime example. Liberty Ilo's ranked number 9 or 10 in the state. I don't think their schedule was indicative to who they played. I don't think that team's that good at this point, right?
You don't think Liberty Ilo is that good?
I didn't think Liberty Ilo was that good up to this point.
Okay.
A&M Consolidated could be 3-0. And they may have a good football team up to this point. That's fine. But are they better than Lufkin? They may not be better than Lufkin.
I mean,
it's a coin flip. It's tough to say. It's ugly. It sounds ugly, but that's how it is sometimes. We fall in love with the schedule. We fall in love with the teams. We fall in love with who the teams play. And then this team's 4-0, but who do we play? Okay, did they play anybody that's normally good? What teams they play? And then all of a sudden, this team's not even ranked. They beat us by 25 points. Well, who did they play? That team may be pretty good. And the other team that beat them may be pretty good. So I think it's a little bit of both. I'm not gonna say, like I said, I'm not gonna say the team's horrible, but Lufkin's considerably good. The quality of opponent in that region of Texas is not.
What's their record?
Lufkin's 3-2 at this point, I believe.
Okay, so they got a winning record.
Pretty good, by the way. Forney's pretty good. They lost against Forney and Longview. So, in both of those are quality opponents. Forney is not a slouch. They've won some games this year. I did not keep track of Forney that well, but Forney's pretty good this year.
And now they're about to play North Mesquite.
Yeah. Now, before I start disrespecting A&M Consolidated that much, let me look and see exactly who they played.
I mean, they kind of barely beat Legacy there. Legacy is awful right now.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
it was the first week too. It is first week, so I always give everybody the benefit of the doubt for first week. So
those Tyler schools aren't that good.
Man,
all right.
I hate that from the schools.
So what they beat at Hunt? Okay, I got good authority. Huntsville's always athletic. Huntsville's had some pretty good football teams the past at least 5 or 6 years. So they beat Huntsville A&M Consolidated. I'm saying they beat Huntsville 38-13. They had a big win over Georgetown tonight, 48-34. And of course, they got Cedar Park and District. They got Pflugerville, not Pflugerville, but let's see. Let me see. They got Leander, College Station, Glen. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. All right, he says, I think Lufkin had a fluke game against A&M Consolidated. Let's see. We said they played again. I think A&M would win handedly.
I'm not gonna disagree with that. I'm not high on Lufkin like Corey is, but tomato
Pedigree here,
tomato.
man. It's
To each their
pedigree.
own.
I don't
To
think
each
they would
their
win
own.
handedly. I don't know about them winning handedly. I don't know about them winning handedly. I don't know about that. Now, I will say this. I will say this. Close games, once you get like close games, if a close game, I think if Lindell and Gilmer played again, I think maybe Lindell would beat them. That's a close game. I think that game could have went either way. I think if Chapel Hill and Van played again, I think Chapel Hill would probably beat them.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's hard to say that type of stuff, man, because
I mean, you get close games like that. You get games that could go either way. What Lindell lost by 8 points, and that was a close game.
yeah, but
You know, a
Van
turnover here
really,
and
when you
there.
look at Van, man, they only lost 2 games, and the game against Lindale was a 3-point game.
But
And if Lindale
I'm
is
talking
as good as we
about how
think
the game,
they are, then that
I'm
must
talking
have
about
been a
how
really
the
good
game was
game.
played. I'm talking about how the game was played
How the game was
overall.
played.
How the game
Yeah.
was played overall is how I'm looking at the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been gone either way. Is what I'm
Now I'd
basically.
be interested to see because because Van beat Brownsboro 41 to 21. They got Canton and Rusk after that, but then after that they got Center and they got Carthage.
Yeah.
To me, you just got to get one of those games, and I'm gonna hang my hat on how on y'all if you can get one of them for me.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think they're better. I think they don't win. I think they don't beat Rusk, Center, or Carthage.
Ooh,
I'm
I'm gonna say this.
I'm gonna hang my hat on that. Hold on, we got here.
They're gonna be two. They're gonna be two. I'm gonna go on and say it. They're gonna be 2 out of them 3. I think they're gonna be 2 out of them 3. I think they gaining steam. I think they gaining momentum. So I think they're gonna be 2 out of 3. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong.
Yes, Derek. We did have up tonight. Biggest upset tonight was Nacogdoches over White House. Nacogdoches 28, White House 21. You paying attention to the show, I'm pretty sure you have. Nacogdoches was they were 0-4. White House is undefeated, and they got that dub tonight. And so White House is undefeated no more. They're 4-1, and that was a district opponent. And then, of course, I don't want to say it's a big upset, but Jacksonville 34-17 over Athens. And Jacksonville had a decent preseason schedule, but nonetheless, 34-17 and dropped down their classification. That's a very big win for them, going 1-0 in district. I don't think they won any games last year, so that's a big win for them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Got BJ
Man,
Watson, Silsby over Western One Stark, 48-27. I was watching some of that game earlier.
Okay.
And that's a big win for Silsby. Appreciate the score, BJ. I did say Watson, Sir Walton. I do apologize.
Did you give my boy
Then of course
my boys Carlisle some love tonight? They beat Lone Oak 48-32. Oh, did I lose you? Yo. Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I hear you now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Carlisle beat Lone Oak. I don't know if you went over that 48-32.
Yeah. Carlisle beat Lone Oak there. Pretty much went over everything here. Pretty much,
man. So let me say this real quick. So I'm looking at Lindale. I don't know. I if I say this and then Chapel Hill lose to him or something like that, it'll make me upset. But when I look at the schedule, technically they did what they were supposed to do, right? I mean, the teams they beat wasn't really that strong at all. But the teams that were, they lost to both of them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm going I don't know. If I'm gonna give them that respect, I still got to give Chapel Hill that respect. I still got to give Hallsville that kind of respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, because your losses are to the better teams, but your wins are all the teams that are really below average.
Yeah. Listen, hold on. I'll be the first one to admit it. I'm not giving Chapel Hill a lot of slack either. They weren't very
Yeah.
high on my poll. I'm not boosting them up either. I'm just saying, they could have won that Van game. The Van game looks worse than the Gilmer game because I don't think Van was that good. They were a coach, but I think Van was a winnable game. They just had too many mistakes and those penalties lost the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
is Lindale better? Is Lindale better than those teams? I thought Lindale played. Lindale's catching steam. Every one of those teams.
But check this out. I hear what you're saying, but listen to what you're saying though. You feel like what Chapel Hill do? We didn't play tonight. Chapel Hill didn't play. Yeah, they had a bye. So you feel like Van wasn't that good, right? They're not what's advertised, right?
I don't feel like that team.
Now look at the fact that
I just don't feel like that team was that good.
But look at the fact that Lindale only beat them by 3 points. That's the only real.
But then again, you gotta think about this though. You gotta think about this. That's an opponent you play every single year. The coaches know each other, the kids know each other. A rivalry game, you throw out records and rankings. You really can't
now just check me out. So Lindale's 3 wins are the Pine Tree, Van, and Henderson. Van being the biggest win of all of them. And if we feel like Van ain't really what they're advertised, then how big is that win? Which then makes me think, is it?
It's not a very
look good.
Big win. Then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, then it just looks good on paper.
It's not a very good on
paper.
It looks good on paper. Because listen, let's be real. I am a very realistic person. Let's be real. If I'm a coach in the locker room, we lost a Van, I'm pissed. Like, we should have won that game. I'm telling my guys, there's a game you should have won. You let that one go. You could have been 3-1 right now, and you let that one go because that's the team you should have beat. You should have beat that team by at least 3 touchdowns. You fumbled the bag. You had some mistakes. You drop passes. You had some penalties. Some penalties didn't go our way. We played sloppy. We got beat. That's what happens when you play sloppy. You get beat. They didn't have.
You know what's crazy?
Mistakes.
Let me.
What happens?
Let me say this here too. When I look at Van's schedule, now all of this is gonna change because district is here. But of course, Van's biggest win is Chapel Hill. Because they beat Pine Tree, which nobody believes Pine Tree is what they, nobody believes Pine Tree is having a great year. And then the other team is Brownsboro. They lost to Lindale and they lost to Paris. And the Lindale game was a 3-point game. The Paris one is the one that's the worst. Paris was 45-13.
Unless Van sustained some injuries that we don't know about.
Now that is true. You could have had some injuries.
That's the other thing. So we're gonna wrap up this in a minute.
Yeah.
And this one will say some surprising losses tonight. Of course, White House got beat by Nacogdoches. That's a surprising loss. Surprising win, Nacogdoches over White House. If you want to flip it. Of course, Longview came back and beat Lancaster 21-13. Liberty Ilo was who we thought they were. They got beat by Sulphur Springs 24-6. We'll get more in depth into that next week because nobody picked Liberty Ilo over Sulphur Springs. Just saying that. Edgewood is that dog. Edgewood is that dog. They are the Purple Bulldogs. If they want to be called that, no disrespect. They put a whopping on Winona 42-14. I'll take that L. I'll hold that L. Hallsville got beat by Texas High. Of course, we already knew that was going to happen. Texas High is it's Texas High. Hallsville's competing, but okay, they lost. Cherry Busting them boys, they beat up on Grapeland. Last time I checked, 41-6. They got that win. Van over Brownsboro. Of course, they got that dub. Let's see. Marshall over Pine Tree. Of course, Marshall beat Pine Tree. Atlanta pulled out a win over Brook Hill. I've been saying Brook Hill was decent this year. They've been playing upper opponents. I think they're going to be a larger 5A private school here pretty soon. So it won't shock me that they play bigger opponents eventually. You know what I mean? So I feel like Brook Hill's growing, and I think they're on that bigger private school path. I'm gonna put a star by Brook Hill. 5 years from now, they may be like one of those. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Let's see here. We go. Kilgore, of course, flexed their muscle. They beat Palestine 32-0, and of course, Lindale got a win. So the district is shaping up in 9-4 like we thought it was going to be. The bigger guys are flexing their muscle a little bit, and that Chapel's got to get that win in the win column. I don't think Jacksonville is as good, but I think they're going to compete. I think Lindale's who we thought they were, and I think Kilgore is also who we thought they were. Chapel's got to play mistake-free football. It's their time to shine. I think that could be the better team in the district. They just got to play and win those games like that. But other than that, man, hey, this is a wacky Friday. This has been a wacky Friday. If you were looking for a win, you got one this week, except for the blowouts. That's what I got to say about that. If you were looking for a win, you got one this week. Some games that are being played. I think Centerville and Jefferson is playing tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, and Tatum is playing Lumberton and SFA. And shout out to Jared once again. He is broadcasting again on the Analyst Sports Network. So if you want to watch that game, it'll be live there for streaming. I'm gonna check that out. Sometime I think they play in the morning, 11 o'clock. So I'll watch that game for sure. Let's see, we got Chris coming on. Chris Black, what's up, fellas?
What's up, Chris?
Sitting there taking notes of all these blowouts and district losses and L's and everything else. So if you guys are traveling tonight, please be safe going home. Enjoy your Saturday. Go Texas Longhorns and all that good stuff. It's your boy CM Vince. We out of here.
Peace.